Hey, don't y'all think that's beautiful right there? That Chris is so beautiful.
This is SportsCenter.
Texas has defeated Southern California to win the national championship of college football.
You make us the greatest team of all. I give a lot of credit to Vince Young and Texas.
Fumble the football, loose on the turf, and the Longhorns have it.
I've made that play before plenty of times during the high school, and obviously it was at the wrong time. It cost us.
He'll hand off to White. He didn't get it. The Longhorns stop it.
If we had a chance to make that first down, that's where you win the football game.
Touchdown, Texas. Touchdown, Vince Young. He's done it again.
Basically, in my mindset, man, do whatever it takes to get that 5 yards. It's over.
That stands for that. It's the only school in the world that does that, which means that. Hook 'em horn.
Did the game actually overshadow the hype? Welcome to SportsCenter. I'm Dan Patrick. There will be no three-peat for Matt Leinart, ending his career at USC with a loss for only the second time in 39 starts. Heisman Trophy winner Reggie Bush probably walking off the field for the final time as a Trojan. And then there's Vince Young, a big decision to make after dethroning USC and giving the Horns their first outright national championship since 1969. Here are some of the key plays from last night's title game at the Rose Bowl. Key play number 1, Trojans up 7-0, and Matt Leinart on the quarterback sneak, 4th down deep into Texas territory, and he stopped. Key play number 2, Reggie Bush breaks it open downfield, and then getting ready to be tackled, tries to make the lateral.
I think what goes into trying to be a playmaker, and then sometimes you get caught up in trying to do too much, and it was an uncostly turnover, obviously.
Key play number 3, Matt Leinart looking for a touchdown. Instead, he finds Michael Griffin, and in college football, you only need to have 1 foot in. Key play number 4, one that they'll be talking about for quite some time. It's Vince Young scrambling, got some room, and then he's going to be tackled. He laterals to Selvin Young, who goes in for the touchdown. Worth another look. The knee clearly on the ground before the lateral. Should have been ruled down, but he felt no remorse after the game.
Was my knee down? I don't know. I just trying to make a play. I just seen Selvin, hey, pitch, and I pitched.
Key play number 5. Texas down by 12 in the 4th quarter. Vince Young scrambling left, then right. And then once he's out of the pocket, practically untouched, Texas within 5 with over 4 minutes to go. Key play number 6, USC trying to run out the clock. 4th and 2, 2:13 to go, and Lendell White is stopped. Texas coach Mac Brown.
We told the team that you stop this 4th down play, we're going to win the national championship.
Key play number 7, ensuing drive, 3rd down, Young to Quan Cosby. But USC is called for a face mask penalty on the tackle. Automatic 1st down for Texas. Key play number 8, 4th and 5, Vince Young.
Basically, in my mindset, man, do whatever it takes to get that 5 yards. And I know in my mind that how explosive our offense is.
You rush for 200, you throw for 267, and you become national champions. Just how close was this game? The Longhorns and Trojans both had 30 first downs with nearly even total yards and passing numbers. Both teams even punted the ball twice, each lost 1 fumble. After the game, Mac Brown addressed his critics.
It's not about me. It wasn't then, and that's why it didn't bother me then, and I'm not mad at them now. So they'll just be quiet for a while. Probably won't talk a lot tonight. They'll be writing and saying different things.
I feel like we lost the game. You know, I mean, I give a lot of credit to Vince Young and Texas, but, you know, we had the game won. You know, we turned the ball over first half, and, you know, I feel like, you know, we did all that we could. And obviously we wish we could have, you know, take some of those plays back and those mistakes back, but, you know, everybody, I believe, you know, gave everything they had. I think we outplayed not just Reggie. I think we outplayed the whole team, man. Everybody gave heart on both sides of the ball.
I thought that Vince Young was extraordinary. He was an extraordinary talent out there tonight, and he was obviously the difference in the football game.
It was such a great football game between 2 great teams. I mean, we're talking about this much difference in winning the national championship or SC winning number 35, and that's the way the game went throughout the night.
Referring to 35 games in a row, they only got to 34. Vince Young setting a record for most rushing yards by a QB in any bowl game, topping the 199 by Nebraska's Tommy Frazier. Let's go back out to Chris Fowler, the college game day crew at the Rose Bowl. Chris.
Well, whenever USC's win streak ended, I think they knew it was going to be painful, but I don't know if the Trojans imagined this painful an ending, blowing a 12-point lead in the last 5 minutes. First in the Pete Carroll era, by the way, and folks are questioning decisions along the way. What, for example, about the 4th and 2 decision to go for it up by 5 at Texas 45-yard line?
Well, I think that's Pete Carroll's philosophy. He went for it. Why not? Linda White's been making everything else before. Go for it. I think it was a good call. The problem was they didn't execute it.
Yeah, it didn't execute it. It's 4th and a yard and a half. Yeah. Everything had been working up to that point. In fact, they had scored 4 straight touchdowns in the second half. They were executing well. Lindale White was pounding it in there for big yards. I think it's an obvious decision, especially if you know Pete Carroll and his background. That's what had him on a 34-game win streak, those kind of decisions.
White had 3 touchdowns. He's their short yardage back. Reggie Bush was not in the game in any capacity. Was that a mistake?
Oh, no. Reggie Bush is not a blocker. You don't use a decoy for it. You're going for manhood. Get it. You don't need a decoy. No, that was a good decision.
2 things. Best offensive line in college football.
Yes.
And the best power back in college football. You're going to take your chances. You don't need Reggie Bush at that point.
All right, after Texas scored to take a 1-point lead, USC burned their final timeout before the 2-point conversion. They could have used that timeout as they moved down the field. Perhaps it would have resulted in a field goal attempt.
Well said. Always in the coach's book, page 14, always save a timeout for the end of the game. Don't ever use it. Wrong mistake.
Yeah, and you think about, do I waste the timeout now? Because even if they score, I'd rather have the timeout for the final 18 to 19 seconds for Matt Leinart to have that decision. So that was a mistake there to use that timeout as opposed to leaving it to Matt Leinart with the final, especially after the big play by Reggie Bush. Imagine if he had one more timeout. It would have been interesting.
You can dissect this game left, right, and center, but in the end, it just came down to number 10 on Texas, Vince Young's historic performance in 2 Rose Bowls, almost 800 total yards, 467 against USC. A performance for the ages. If it's his final college performance, he's left us all something to remember. Here's Steve Cyphers.
The morning after Vince Young ran and passed the Longhorns to the national championship, his head coach took an unscheduled wake-up call.
You know, your life is different when the first call you get this morning's from President Bush at 6 o'clock, and Sally asked me if I was awake and wanted to take it. So I said, I think so.
No such call for Young, who said some of his night was spent privately on his balcony, reflecting on how far he's come to get to where he is. But the decision on where he'll be, whether he'll enter the NFL draft, will wait.
I mean, basically, it's all about sitting down with your family, sitting down and making the best decisions. So that's the biggest key.
What we want in reward for Vince is what is in his heart, what is best for him, and that will be best for the University of Texas. Somebody asked me on Monday, if you win the national championship and Vince leaves, what will you do? And I said, I'll kiss him. So I haven't yet.
Young has until January 15th to make his NFL decision. However, he has made the decision to appear on Jay Leno Thursday night. With the Longhorns, Steve Cyphers, ESPN.
Well, we had the 2 highest total yardage performances in the 8-year history of BCS Bowls. Young's 467, 200 of those came on the ground, 140 yards rushing in the second half alone. Talk about renaming Pasadena Youngstown for the last 2 performances. Guys, Vince Young was over here saying, who's the Heisman? Who's the Heisman? He got caught up in the moment there. Afterward, he kind of calmed down. But how do you rank this performance?
Oh, unbelievable. The best thing that you've seen in a long time. The lasting impression I have of Vince Young is not only what he did on the field, but what he did off the field one time. The Richard Frank was being honored in the Hall of Fame of the Rose Bowl, right in front of the Texas Bank. While he was being applauded by everybody, the only person to walk off the bench and hug the guy was Vince Young. To me, that picture speaks volumes of the way that guy is a man. I'll tell you, that will never leave my mind of that guy hugging him. Yeah, it was great.
First of all, about his performance, it was the best individual performance that I've ever seen in any sport. And to have a chance in this atmosphere and this stage to be able to have that kind of game, I think speaks volumes. And it's going to be one of those individual performances we talk about 20 or 30 years down the road. But Lee's right. There's something different about Vince Young that is very unique beyond just having great athletic ability. And it's being a great leader and having a great heart. And that's the way he's affected this team and others around him, not just by scoring touchdowns and looking pretty, but by affecting guys psychologically. Everybody around him is affected in a positive manner.
Yep. A performance half as good as this against Texas A&M late in the season, and Vince Young might have won the Heisman Trophy. He's not concerned about that right now. He and the Longhorns have the crystal ball, and there are reports that Vince and company concluded the evening's festivities up at Matthew McConaughey's house. A big Texas fan watching the sunrise in the Hollywood Hills isn't a bad way to go out.
Not a bad life.
Not a bad life.
Not
Life
too
is
shabby.
good for him.
The eyes of Texas. Pasadena painted burnt orange in a historic night for Vince Young in Texas. He's been dancing all year long.